How are you? Good morning. Whew, how are you doing? I hope that you're doing well. This is just to say hi to you and to tell you that I'm doing well, and I hope that you're doing well too. And you guys are so quiet over there. What's going on? I don't hear from you. I don't know what you guys, if you guys are enjoying the episodes that I'm putting out. I don't know if you're feeling encouraged. I don't know if you're feeling inspired. I hope that you are. I hope that you are. And if you are, please continue tuning into the Thought Curator podcast. And I hope that you're enjoying these conversations that I'm having with you. So, I think next time I better have a topic to talk about because you guys are not going to be coming back here and I don't have a topic to talk about. But in this season, I'm curious about finances and I'm curious about learning as much as I can about finances because I feel like that's the part of my life that is not going the way I want. And I am currently watching a lot of money related conversations and development kind of conversations. So, yeah, I want to get financially literate as much as I can. And so far, I have been learning about the different avenues that you need to have set up just to ensure that you're on the safe side financially. And even though I have not started yet, but I know that I need to have those specific things running. So I learned that you should have, especially when it comes to saving, you should have a goal-based saving initiative where you have an emergency fund set up. An emergency fund setup is money for rainy days, and this specific account will be for when things are thick. That is when you go back to this account, and if you're disciplined enough, you will not just be withdrawing money just because. It will have to be an emergency that befits the occasion, maybe an health issue or maybe a job loss or something, but something that is worth substantiating. And as well, you need to have a sinking fund account. This is an account for travel expenses if you plan to travel somewhere. If you're planning to have maybe 3 trips a year, you should have money set up for such things because that's a luxury. And if you feel like it's important to you, then you should prepare for it. And this as well can be an account for lifestyle things, for example, home improvement, purchase of your own personal things, any expenditure that you deem to be more than no above not above, to be something that is extra from the basic needs and the usual things that you buy on a monthly basis. That then goes into the sinking funds account. It will aid you in your lifestyle things, in purchases of things that you've been wishing to just purchase and you know that you can't purchase at once. So you put your savings into this. Also, you should have an account for, if you are in debt, you should have an account that you save into to enable you to clear your debts. And It's important because it will, it's okay. Budgeting is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. So if you budget for something, if you're budgeting for debt, if you're budgeting for lifestyle, if you're budgeting for rainy day, then it means that you're spending your money wisely because you're telling it where to go instead of waiting for it to be depleted, and then you ask yourself, where did that money go? How did I spend it? Because you did not allocate your money. I feel like, and I have learned that when you tell your money where to go, it serves you more than just waiting to see what this money can do for you. You know, we use money as a tool. Money is not our master. We are the master of the money that we have. So when it comes to finances, you have to take it with a very positive mindset. And I think it all starts with a mindset that this thing is meant to serve me. It is meant to do as I ask of it, and contentment comes from where a point where you have reached and you feel like this money is actually doing for me what I need it to do for me. And in my financial literacy journey that I just started, I have learned a very important thing that I don't know if I really have the strength to do, but everything is about discipline and learning. So I'm committed to learning to limit myself to frugal living so that I get to financial freedom very quickly. Frugal living is like limiting yourself completely of luxury or of things that you do not need. It is looking at yourself as if you do not have. Just admit that you do not have this money and you can't spend money that you don't have. And because you're committing yourself to a frugal living is like living on the bare minimum so that you're able to go to financial freedom quickly because you save more. This is something that I need to learn. God help me to learn these things, because if I don't learn it now, I was talking to my friends the other day, and I was telling them, oh my God, probably it's just hitting me even more that I need to learn to be very financially disciplined. I haven't had to, but I need to learn. I really need to learn. If I am to do myself justice and do more for myself in my younger days, I need to learn. And that's why I'm committing myself to that. So in frugal living, you need to do value-based spending. Value-based spending. You only spend on the valuable things. You only spend on the basic. You only spend on what you really need. And you ensure that you get value for it by avoiding external influence, external spending influence, where you go to the supermarket and you see this beautiful thing, and because you have the money, you decide to buy it, forgetting that this money could have been used for something else if this thing that you're buying was not really necessary. So yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. You need to buy things that really have value to you. Otherwise, you'll continue to be in debt. And another thing is to embrace a minimalist lifestyle. Minimalist lifestyle is where you're not a junkie. You do not want all for yourself. You take only what you need. You take only what is important. You take only what is necessary. You take only what will help you. As of everything else that you do not need, that you keep acquiring, maybe it's time to let go of those things. Maybe it's time to admit that I really don't need this thing. I really do not need it. It may not be that important for me at the moment. And admitting that I can't afford it. Hey, that part where you admit to yourself that I can't afford it, that I don't have the money for this, even if you know that you have the money for it. I think it's a good level of growth when you finally admit to yourself that I can't afford it because I'm working on something. I'm working towards financial freedom. I'm working towards having an investment. I'm working towards saving. And so I can't afford this thing. You're being called for something and you just say outright, I can't afford to come. I can't afford to buy this thing. I don't have the money for it. I think that's a level of growth that is very, very admirable. And I want to get to that point where I'll pass things. I'll just pass and say, I can't afford it. I'll pass something and say, I don't have the money for that. Right now does not mean that when my bank is full, 10 years from now, I won't afford that thing. But also you realize maybe 10 years later, you wouldn't need the same thing. So yeah, so embrace a minimalist lifestyle. Also clarify your priorities. What is your priority? For me right now, my priority is basic needs. As long as we have basic needs, as long as we have food, shelter, um, transport to my work, I think those are things that I'm willing to spend on now. Those are things I'm willing to spend on now, and the rest of the money that I can come in after that is for saving and investment. And mercilessly cut things out that mercilessly just cut things out of your budget, things that are you budgeted for you budgeted for a travel that you know you can't afford. Babe, just don't go. I know when we're talking about finances, I'll tell you don't go, but when we're talking about YOLO, I'll tell you to plan for it. But now that you know where you are financially, just don't do it if you can't afford it. So just be merciless in cutting out expenditure that you do not need. And the extra money that you get from mercilessly cutting out things, use that money to save. Use that money to save, use that money to invest, and you categorize your expenditure or expenses in terms of needs versus wants. Needs are those things that you can't live without. Those are needs. Needs are those things that you cannot live without. You know that your daily life cannot run without this specific thing. But wants are desires. These are things that you would like to have, you would like to acquire, but it does not mean that if you don't have them, you won't exist. It does not mean that when you don't have it, you will not live a full life. You will still live a full life, only that you don't have that thing. So if you're able to categorize your needs and expenses in terms of needs versus wants, you're in a good place. And budget, the best solution is to live within your means. Ensure that you are living within your budget. Live within the money that you have. Do not budget for money that is not here yet. Do not budget for money that you hope someone will give you. Do not budget yourself on debt. Do not budget your expenses on someone else's pocket. Live within your means. And this I tell you, and I tell myself as well, with so much love, live within your means. Also, get an extra income if you can. For myself, I'm looking for a remote job. I'm looking to get an extra source of income so that I feel I'm able to budget on two income streams. And you love me so much and start following me and start and start listening more to my podcast so that I'm able to earn more money, the better. I'll appreciate you for it. But just budget for just I'm teaching myself to budget for financial freedom and plan for it. How am I going to achieve this financial freedom? How am I going to and by financial freedom I mean reaching a point where you're like finances is no longer a major problem for me. I can well be able to manage my finances very well. I'm comfortable where I am. I feel like I've invested enough to relax a bit more, to have more time to myself, and to afford the luxuries of life and afford the things that I desire, not just the needs, but also the wants. That's a level of financial freedom that I feel like I'm aiming for. And you plan for it. It does not just come, so you have to plan for it. You have to know that you need this. You have to know that this is what I exactly want. So I think we will continue this conversation at some other time because um, this episode has become longer than I want it to be. So we'll continue some other time when I feel like we can we can continue the subject. Anyway, thank you for listening to the end. I really appreciate you. Thank you for coming back to the Thought Curator podcast, and I hope to see you in the next episode. And I hope that you interact with me. I would love to know who I'm speaking to. I'd love to know where you are at in your journey. Let me know. Let me in on your life as well, because I feel like I'm letting you in to mine. So yeah, have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.